and God can provide it. Because all of the things that are going on in the world, the upheaval, all those types of things, people killing, fighting, wars, and everything that's going on, it's enough just to make you want to stay in bed. But you have to get up. You have to move. You have to go forward. You have to take care of your business, of your family, your children, your home. You have to move forward. And we do it in the strength of God. So if you are a believer, this is promise. This promise is for you. Psalms 29:11. The Lord will give strength unto his people. The Lord will bless his people with peace. So if you're seeking peace today, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Oh, what a mighty God we serve, that loves you, that are calling on you today to seek him. Brothers and sisters, if I could pour anything into you, I would pour that into you, to seek, to knock, to ask. Ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be open unto you. Because God is standing there, waiting and saying, come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy burden, and I will give you rest. That's a promise that will always stay with you. That's a promise that will never fail. Seek him today in the midst of all the chaos and all the drama, in the midst of everything that's going wrong, even when things are going right. Seek him, and you'll be surprised what you can do through Christ, which is all things. And remember, there's a way out of your mess, and it's JESUS. Be encouraged.
Where can you buy a brand new Nissan with a lifetime warranty? Kingston Pike. Hey folks, Gerald Anderson with Ted Russell Nissan. You heard it right. Every new Ted Russell Nissan comes with a lifetime warranty, and that's a long, long time. Ted Russell Nissan on Kingston Pike.
Good morning and welcome to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Ask Your Neighbor can also be heard and seen on our website, WYSHradio.com. And if you are in Anderson, Rome, or Morgan County and have Comcast cable, you can watch Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV Channel 12. Ask Your Neighbor is the program where you call in and do just that. Ask Your Neighbor. Do you have a comment? Do you have a problem? Or do you have a question? Then call in and ask your neighbor. 865-457-1380 or toll free at 877-711-4005. And for those of you that might be listening or watching on the internet, you can email from our website, WYSHradio.com. Just click on the Contact Us button and email your questions. Now sit back and listen as listeners throughout East Tennessee and the entire world answer your questions on Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV 12 and AM 1380 WYSH.
Well, the phone lines are open for anything that's on your mind. I'll start off here with this. First, going to start here because we had previously set up that the 24th, Wednesday, we were going to bring in the candidates for state rep. We're not going to be able to do that this Wednesday. A couple of reasons. The main reason is that I had an obligation pop up. We didn't have it before Friday, but as of Friday, I have to be somewhere on the 24th, so I won't be able to do that. We were having a hard time getting everything scheduled with the amount of time for opens and answers and a lot of just, silly details. But that said, we're not going to be able to do it on that 24th. We'll look and see if there's an alternative date. That is also the day that the sheriff was going to make he didn't get to come on the 17th because of senior day. We would try to do the 24th, but since I'm not going to be here, we're going to do that on the 26th. Guys, text Russell this morning, and he said that we could do Friday. All right, Friday the 26th. That's right. Yes. So, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Friday the 26th we'll have Russell on. Anderson County Sheriff Russell Barker. So that's our schedule at the moment with all the disarray going on politically and nationally. There's lots happening, lots of people talking, lots of people speculating. I mean, my goodness, in American politics, did you ever think you would see, I mean, such crazy, unprecedented, I guess, political turmoil? Is that the right? Well, you have a sitting president get shot, or excuse me, a former president gets shot, and a sitting president declined to run for re-election. And then now you've got sides, some Democrats, but mostly Republicans, saying he should step down now. So who do you think it's going to be? Is it going to be Kamala Harris? Is she? I mean, that's who the president endorsed. But former President Obama did not endorse her and said they need a process to find a reasonable candidate. All kinds of names bandied about. Joe Manchin, he said no, though, today. He came out and said he's not going to do it. We'll see. So you got all that going on. Man, locally, we're still awaiting the finality of the investigation of the Anderson County schools, Clinton High School, on this grade-changing scandal. And then somebody said that now it has, well, not somebody, but a source said, and we already knew this, that there was a quote-unquote criminal investigation was going on. We knew that. Hopefully we'll get the details on that, maybe Friday, or if they come out, we'll get them before that. But if not, maybe by Friday, Russell can give us an update on that, and we'll see. But there have been some new allegations going around. So we got that. Last week, of course, the county lost $1.9 million in a lawsuit that involved former clerk William Jones. We got that going on. There's just a lot of stuff that's been happening here in the county. We wrapped up the Anderson County Fair. We had that going on all week last night. What a tremendously successful fair that was. Good Lord held off the weather. At least we had a little rain, but it cleared up quick. And so hats off to a great and successful Anderson County Fair and all the people that worked so diligently hard to do that. I am disappointed to tell you, I personally did not get to go to the Anderson County Fair this year. The 2 nights that we had scheduled to try and go, we had stuff come up and we just couldn't. The kids go. Take my word for it, the fair got my money. I promise. They got my money because we sent 3 kids every night. But I want to say thank you very much to the people at the Anderson County Fair for including us, and I'm happy that there were so many people that got to come out and attend. We look forward to it next year. Those guys are probably, I was starting to say they're probably already back on it today. No, today they're probably between cleaning up and taking a break. They're probably going to have a downtime for a day or two, but they'll be right back at it, getting things in line and ready for next year. Lots of stuff floating around out there. If you want to ask about anything, talk about anything, share about anything, it's called Ask Your Neighbor for a reason. 865-457-1380. In 2 minutes, I will come back with your calls. Or in 2 minutes, I will come back and with the understanding, if I have no calls, that you guys have nothing that's on your mind you need to ask, or nothing on your mind that you'd like answered, or you'd like to answer. But Let's get on the phones, 457-1380.
Hey, friends, it's Cougar from Rusty Wallace Nissan. July's heating up, and so are the deals on over 300 new Nissans. And all new Nissans come with our exclusive, no-charge, 200,000-mile warranty. Take advantage of power buys on 24 Sentras from $20,997, 24 Altimas from $23,850, 23 Rogues from $25,970, 23 Kicks from $18,900, and family-ready Pathfinders from $29,744. So shop in those July power buy socks at RustyWallaceNissan.com. All
right, here we go. Morning. Welcome to Ask Your Neighbor on WYSH.
Yeah, Ron, I just wanted to, I'm going to ask you a question about some of your competitors, but your radio station's a whole lot better than they ever have been.
Buddy, I appreciate that.
But I've got a question about WIVK.
All right.
They are I've tried to get a hold of them on the phone, and that's a joke. I mean, it's a teetotal joke. But I was going through some stuff, and it's like a coaster. It's got the frog on it. It says WIVK 108. And ever since when I used to listen to them years ago, it's always been 107.7. When in the world was it ever 108?
Well, back before we had digital receivers, you remember when you just had the little tuning dial?
Yeah.
Well, radio stations, they didn't give the decimal. Like, for instance, 104.9 used to be WQLA 105 FM. It was back before they had the little split decimals where you just had the 100 and the 101 and the 102. You didn't have the 101.1s. And we didn't start identifying radio stations with the decimal point until we started getting the digital displays where we could see the decimal point.
About what year was that? Do you remember?
70s, somewhere around in there. Is late. I think it began maybe in the late 70s, early 80s when things started getting digital and people started. And stations still, a lot of the stations still referred to themselves like 105 FM or whatever until a couple of things happened. You had deregulation that happened in the 80s that allowed for more radio stations, right?
Okay.
So instead of just having a radio station maybe at 105.9, and 105.5, you might have one station, and it might be 105.5, but you didn't have another one on the 105 dial for a long time.
Okay.
And then Congress or the president, Congress, and they deregulated it and they were able to add more frequencies. And when they started adding more stations and putting them in the frequencies, obviously if you got one station on 105.5, one station on 105.9, in order to make you just couldn't say 105 anymore. So they had to start, we had to start identifying ourselves.
Okay. Now, I think the Talk Merle was 96.7, and I think Praise Radio was 96.3.
Yep.
So, okay. Well, see, I redone. I can't remember what year it was, but I used to do a lot of work for Alvin Fox and Lester Fox them, and they bought them radio stations up around the Folly.
Yep, that's what I was just talking about. 104.9 WQLA.
Okay, and I built in Woodson's Mall there. I built the soundproof rooms and done all the work on the studios up there.
Yes, sir.
And I knew it was a WQLA, and then there was the gospel station.
WWGR, Warm, Wonderful Gospel Music. That's what it started out as.
Okay, they had them two radio stations, and but I looked at that thing and I said, I can't remember. I mean, evidently I did. I mean, evidently but I could. But that's when they changed it there then.
And they used to not identify so much with the frequency. It was more the station name. Back then, you pushed WIVIC, WIVK, and the frequency. We just didn't use it a lot in our description and branding.
Okay.
Back then, until again, the more crowded the dial got, the more you had to start finding ways to separate yourself from the guy next to you.
Okay. Now, didn't y'all used to have to? Now, I may be wrong, or maybe this be something I heard. Didn't y'all have to decrease your power later in the evening, or?
All AMs did. Well, not all, but the great majority of AMs in the United States of America, all but just a handful, have to lower their power.
Okay. Well, I hate to ask you about your competitor, but I was just, like I said, I seen that they're like a coaster, and I said I tried to call them, and it's like trying to get a hold of somebody in the government.
They don't answer their phones, huh?
No. And I was going to ask him what year it was, and I said, "Dad, blame it. Bad as I hate to, I'll ask about his competitor or whatever."
Buddy, it don't bother me one iota. You call, ask me anything you want about anybody you want. If I know, I'll tell you.
I guess the fair done all right, didn't it?
The fair did really good.
Well, that's good. I'm glad they did. And I appreciate the information there, and hope you have a nice day.
Thank you, Pat. I appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, if you guys want to go back and remember, we just had a handful of well, it used to be two. There was a reason there were just a handful. Before this full deregulation in the 90s, you could not own more than one AM and one FM radio station. There was a long period of time when you were not allowed to own a newspaper and a radio station. I mean, there was a lot of stipulations and regulations on broadcasting. It still are. There's still a lot of regulations. It seems like they'll remove one or two regulations or change one or two regulations and add 15 more. But that's why the dial just got very, 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 very crowded. I mean, you just think about since I've been here. Just look at the stations that I've added. You know, let's see, we added 99.5. That was not here. We added 101.1. That was not here. We added 95.9. That was not here. I added 96.7. That was not here. Let's see here. I mean, there's just a bunch that, all of those are new. As far when I say new, none of them were here back in the 90s. So they increased the number of stations on the dial, and that led to people having to better identify themselves. Also, too, that same deregulation allowed guys like me to have more than one AM and one FM in a market. We went through a big, long hearing with the FCC when I bought WATO in Oak Ridge, because some of my competitors said I was buying two AMs in the same market. And at that time, you weren't supposed to own them. The FCC ruled in our favor and let us do it. But that was part of the deregulation, too, where you could own more than one FM, more than one AM in the market. And now it's based on the market share of the stations as to how many you can own. So it's hard to keep up with. I own a bunch of radio stations, and I can't keep up with it. So I don't expect y'all to. But that's the reason. The stations used to be more easily identified because there were fewer of us, and you didn't have to get real specific in your branding. There you go. All right, 2 minutes. We're back with you, or we're back with, who is that? Let's see, what have I got? No, hang on. Do I have some? Yes, I do. Bellamy Brothers coming up. Yeah, we'll see what that's got for you. Whatever you want to do, call me quick.
If you're an RN, LPN, CNA, or personal caregiver and you're tired of high staff-to-patient ratios and not having a work-family life balance, you should consider working for the Home Option in Oak Ridge. They offer competitive wages, one-on-one patient care, flexible scheduling, training, and comprehensive benefits for eligible employees. Make a lasting difference in someone's life and take a step to improve your life. Call the Home Option at 865-220-1700 or Google the Home Option in Oak Ridge.
Have you ever wondered how a body shop comes up with the exact color when they repair your car? H&H Body Shop has some of today's newest and most technologically advanced equipment.
I have a camera that if I had no idea what color your car was, I tell that camera what the whitest white is, and I tell it what the blackest black is. That's how you synchronize it. And I take a picture of your vehicle. It sees what it sees. It hooks to the computer. It goes into the database of all the formulas ever created for cars. It'll make a formula for what it's seen.
It'll tell you what to mix.
Yeah. And on top of that, I have some technicians that can see it and make it. They can see it and they know what it takes to make it.
H&H Body Shop, today's best technology and local down-home folks. Locally owned, locally operated. H&H Body Shop at 749 North Main Street in Clinton. Call 865-457-9735.
Okie dokie, to the phones we go. Howdy, good morning. This is Ask Your Neighbor.
Hello, Ron. I remember back a few years ago, well, pretty good years ago, my brother-in-law, and 5 or 6 more built him a radio station on his mama's front porch up there.
His mom, they built a radio station on his mom's front porch. How'd they do that?
Interrupted everybody's station. I mean, they had power.
They get in trouble?
Lasted about 2 or 3 days, and they went up there and shut them down. And went over just before you get to Elm Grove Tourist Court, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
We went over there and built them a block building. It's part of it's still standing there, and made a recording station. They recorded music there.
Oh, wow.
And it's part of the building still there.
Now, where's that at?
You know where Elm Grove Tourist Court is?
Yeah.
Once from Lake City, it's just before you get there. It's up on the bank there. You go up, you turn up one road there, and it goes out in the, I forget what the name of the place is, but it's just before you get there. It's right up on the building. You can see it from the road if you pull over on the edge and look. You can see it just before you get to the tourist court. I believe it's right across from that big old cow standing in their yard over there.
Yeah.
There's a recording station over there and recorded a lot of records.
Well, that's interesting.
It was on there every day singing and picking, grinning, going on.
But they started off trying to build a radio station, huh?
Go on, buddy.
That's crazy.
Really going. And my brother-in-law, he built him a welding, electric welder, had a tub of water. I forget what all he had, but he built him an electric welder out of scraps.
That's fantastic. Sounds like pretty smart guy.
People used to steal their gas all the time, so he got him an idea, and he got him a tube and welded the end up where he couldn't get no gas fumes up in it. Bashed him a copperhead down in there, and put a lid on it with vents in it.
Yep.
Put the gas that night, and he found his can and his gas and no snakes or no people.
Somebody got a big surprise, didn't they?
They had a lot of thoughts back in them days. Now all they do is want to be on the phone or something.
Oh, you're right. We had to. Back then, you had to figure out a way to, it's a necessity. You had to figure out a way to get it done, right?
Still do that, too.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, man. That's interesting. I appreciate you sharing that with us.
I thought you might like to hear about that recording station, because Quentin did used to have a recording station up there.
Oh,
I heard you a while back, a couple of years, maybe a year ago, something like that, talking about they never had one in Clinton, but they had one there, and they made records.
Well, there you go.
Set it up themselves and everything. I don't know how they done it. Just had time to think of stuff back in. Now you ain't got time to think or do nothing.
Doesn't seem like it, does it?
World's in a rush, buddy.
Oh.
We better start praying for our leaders, whoever gets in.
I agree with you there.
What the Bible tells us to do, and we better do it.
Amen. Thank you.
And if everybody that goes to church was a Christian and done what God says, this country will be in the shape it is.
It'll be in a lot better shape than it is, for sure.
Got too many church goers, not enough God goers.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for your station. I appreciate all the stuff you do.
Buddy, thank you, and it's nice to have you tuned in, dialed up, and it's good to talk to you.
I'll check on that recording station someday.
I will. I'll see what I can figure out.
Hey, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.
Closest recording studio or anything I can remember growing up was in Knoxville, and it was Big Mama's. Big Mama's recording studio. Norbert Stovall He owned it. I know I recorded over there. Took my band and stuff, and we recorded music over there. But I did not know there was a recording studio as far as making records here in Knoxville. Now, the radio stations used to do this a lot. And if you watch Oh Brother, Where Art Thou or something, you'll see that radio stations had enough appropriate equipment that they could make records and recordings. Usually 2-channel recordings. I started out mono recordings, but it got to where we could make stereo recordings. So they would record stuff, and they would take that master recording on tape and send it or take it to wherever, have it pressed into a vinyl disc, and then those vinyl discs were mass-produced, replicated, and distributed. But the recordings, a lot of them were done in radio studios. Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to call it a day in 2 minutes. Let me know what you guys would like to ask or answer. If not, music is on the way. On July 13th, we witnessed an attempt to assassinate our former president, Donald Trump. By God's divine intervention, the bullet meant to kill him only struck his ear, sending him and many in the audience ducking for cover as additional rounds were fired. One firefighter in the audience, Corey Capatori, lost his life shielding his wife and daughter with his body. Marine Corps veteran David Dutch and American patriot James Copenhaver were also wounded. This ad was originally meant to be about our pest control services. But instead, we want to invite you to go to valorpest.com/donate and donate to the families of these victims. That's valorpest.com/donate. The would-be assassin was a weak coward and no match for our trained counter-sniper teams who put that good old American justice to work right there. May God be with the Trump family and comfort the families of the victims. Valor Pest Control. God, family, country. All right. Howdy, this is Tradie Time on WYSH. Good morning. No, excuse me. This is Ask Your Neighbor on WYSH. Good morning. Howdy.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Yes, sir.
Just for your information, there was a recording studio in Clinton.
Yes, that's what the gentleman in the car before you just said. Yeah.
It was ran by a man named Philip Campbell.
Philip Campbell. All right.
I lived in the apartment above it.
Where was it? Where was it?
You know where Advanced Auto is on Severs Boulevard?
I do.
It was right in that area.
Wow. Well, there you go. How long did it operate? Do you know?
I really don't remember. I left here and went in the military.
Okay.
But the Oak Ridge Boys, the Blackwood Brothers recorded there, and it was mostly a religious recording studio.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting to know.
But there used to be a store there right on the street.
Okay.
And it was called Moore Street at that time.
And there was a recording.
And Highway 61.
Well, there you go. Man, I'm learning all kinds of fun stuff today.
Well, I figured I'd clue you in on a little bit of it.
Well, I need all the cluing in I can get. Thank you, buddy.
Okay.
Bye. Interesting. We end up finding stuff out about our town and area. I didn't know that. All right. 10:43, good morning.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-2706.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-2706. That's 800-575-2706.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Enjoy your day today, guys. I'll be back here with you bright-eyed and bushy-tailed tomorrow here at the Country Club McMorning Show, fueled by coffee from the Ferris family. McDonald's, enjoy yourself. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for listening to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Make sure you tune in at 10 a.m. each day, Monday through Friday, right here on AM 1380 WYSH and BBB TV 12. Or listen live online at WYSHradio.com. And remember, if you have a question, comment, or problem, call in tomorrow and ask your neighbor.